What's going on, ladies, gents, and kids of all ages? It is Eric coming back at you once again from the Nerd Cave, and as promised, today we will not only be talking about my experience at the Reign of Jafar set championship, but also we will be announcing that giveaway winner at the end of the video. So if you entered the giveaway, we had over 500 entries and over 1,000 comments. So thank you so much to the people who joined in on the conversation, got entered into that. And keep in mind, some of those people got like 10 entries by joining the Patreon. You get an additional entry. You can join Patreon for 99 cents. So if you guys ever want to check that out, big shout out to the Patrons for making this whole giveaway possible, by the way. And then there was an opportunity to get one entry for every video that you commented on since the giveaway window began. So I think there was like 10 or so opportunities there. There were some people who got quite a few entries and really have like a multi-percentage point chance of winning, as opposed to having that fraction with that one entry. So keep that in mind with my giveaways in the future. We'll be doing another one at 5,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, now's a great time to do so. Always planning on bringing more giveaways on the channel. But to not bury the lead, we'll go ahead and jump into it. We did manage to get top 8 and get one of those nifty cool little Jafar promos at the set championship today. We also got 8 packs, which we're going to open on camera. I'm so excited to open those. Always love opening packs. Picked up 8 of these guys, so we'll go ahead and get the tabletop camera going. We're going to talk a little bit about the deck that I chose to play, what my matchups were, and how it got me across the top 8. I think it was entirely possible to make it beyond top 8, but I will talk about that a little bit more as we progress. So stick around until the end. We'll have that giveaway coming at you, giving away a whole Reign of Jafar booster box. Start cracking into some of these packs when we're talking. I guess we'll start with the least exciting packs. They didn't have any Jafar packs, which is just as well for me because at this point we are complete on our play sets of everything, so we're just kind of opening packs for fun. Got 8 packs, why not open them? The prize support, there was 17 people at the tournament today and they gave away 81 packs, which is super good. Super fair prize support. I think that's like 80% of what they took in, and there was the Jafars, and of course first place got the champion mat. Top 8 split pack, so it was 8 packs regardless. It's 5 rounds of Swiss because we had 17 people. Before I talk about my matchups, I did choose to play Nerdin. If you haven't seen that deck list, I'll throw the deck list on screen real briefly before we go ahead and jump further into this pack. This is the deck list that I ran. The biggest change over my version of the deck list from the video is I did choose to drop one big Sisu, and I dropped one Tamatoa, going down to just one Tamatoa total in the deck to play 2 brawls. I didn't feel like the Tamatoas worked as much for me as I would have liked. They were kind of like okay more often than not when they came up. Sometimes they were good, sometimes the popsicles were there, sometimes the Vitalospheres were there, but I felt like Brawl was super good. There were 2 of them in the deck list. They were there when I needed them. There was one time I got one back because I was playing against Ruby Amethyst and was able to take advantage of it to get rid of their Peter Pan again. But I think this deck list is really super good. But we'll go ahead and jump into this pack and we'll talk about my round 1. Round 1, I played against Ruby Steel, which is a super good matchup for the way that my deck list is built because I play Fan the Flames and Lilo to be able to ready characters, and as you can imagine, Ruby Steel is primarily looking to challenge characters. So if I took away their ability to challenge anything, then they couldn't really get any favorable large lore gain. So that was my strategy throughout that match. Got the Lamp and Minnie Mouse and a foil Simba, not very exciting in that pack. And of course we got the Jafar, pretty cool for making top 8. So anyway, I 2-0'd that game. There wasn't a whole lot that they could do. I was pretty much in the driver's seat the entirety of both games. Then round 2 was like the bane of my existence round. I went against a gentleman who was playing Blurple. Blurple is generally not a great matchup for me, especially the way that the new Blurple deck lists run. And so he was playing Blurple. It ended up being a very grindy matchup. He was, realized I was trying to board wipe with Be Prepared and stuff like that. He clearly knew how to play the matchup. So what he was choosing to do is just really hold back all of his resources, play one guy, quest with it, until I had to Be Prepared. And in this instance, that one guy was Iago a lot of times, which I really can't do anything about with Brawl. I don't have the Sapphire Coils to reduce strength to be able to get favorable removal on them without having to Be Prepared. And then once I've run through them and he's not giving me anything to challenge into with my Maui Shark, it's hard for me to start getting those Be Prepareds back and start the recursion. Foil Bare Necessities, I mean, that's pretty good. That's probably the best thing in here so far. I will take it. So really couldn't get my foot on the gas. And then even when I tried to get like my McDucks out, when he had weak guys out, he'd throw down like Robin Hood and Monstro and Thiagos with the Robin Hoods to give him rush. And so it was just really hard for me to kind of take advantage of any of the cards the way that my deck plays in that matchup. I didn't get super gas hand at all, so, and I lost the dice roll, so it was rough. I ended up losing 2-0. It was a super grindy match. I wouldn't say he played slowly. It's a complicated deck to play, so I would say that, you know, it was complicated, so it took him a while to think out what he was going to do on each turn, and that just kind of slowed things down. We almost went to time, only having played 2 games, and to just get 2-0'd anyway was kind of a bummer. Left that matchup in kind of a funk, especially when you're 1-1 going into round 3. It's like, okay, now I really need to start winning games because I'm 1-1. And so round 3, I ended up going into Amber Steel, thinking it was going to be Amber Steel Rhino aggro, a deck that I'm super well teched for. I feel really good about that matchup, especially if they're playing stuff like Penny. Penny really makes that matchup great for me because obviously I have Sisu. Sisu's great against Penny, Rapunzel, Daisy Duck, Rhino, unless it's a shifted Rhino, of course. It's great against most of the cards in that deck. So I felt super good about the matchup. A couple turns in, it became more apparent to me that she was playing, she did have Rhino in it, but she was playing more of a Steel Song build with Aerials and Naveen, Sonic Warrior with the shift line. So she had some interesting tech options. I was getting ready to brawl her small aerial at one point, and then she shifted a Sonic Warrior onto it, and I was like, can't brawl that. But that's a pretty good pack. Both cards that are rotating out, but not too shabby. And a foil has set my heart, excuse me. So that's the Inklands packs. Decent stuff. Foil Bare Necessities is cool. I think I still need more of that. Then we get into the Ursula's return pack. So we ended up going to game 3. The deck was very aggro-y. Game 1, she was just able to get her foot on the gas and go aggro hard against me, even though I had won the die roll. Then game 2, of course, I was going first. It's a much better position to be in, and I got the absolute gas hand. If you haven't watched my Nerdin video, I definitely recommend watching that, seeing more of a breakdown of the combos of cards in this deck. But essentially what I did to her in game 2 was filthy. She had a really good opener, got like Daisy Ducks, Smee, and then another Daisy Duck. Super good opener, very aggressive. And I went like turn 1 Popsicle, turn 2 Azurite Sea, Ink, so I still have no characters on the board. I'm up to 3 ink. I inked again and threw down Atala. Turn 3 I inked again and threw down Atala for 4. And then going into that turn 4, I was in a super good position. I just ended up getting really lucky on the draw, and so I was able to, how far I'll go. I think we just found out this getting reprinted, so that's a pretty good pull potentially. Okay. Enchanted Anna out of our prize packs. Alright, well, these were really good prize packs. I heard somebody else who was there also pulled an Enchanted. So yeah, I guess 2 Enchanteds from this tournament. And not only in the prize packs, but I got the Jafar. That's kind of crazy. And then the Prince Philip, so that's super cool. Did not expect an Enchanted. Kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, turn 4, so I had Tala out. Play How Far I'll Go. Fan the Flames to Tala, which is going to let me ready her. Sing another How Far I'll Go, or sing the How Far I'll Go, Fan the Flames, How Far I'll Go again with her. And then I played 3 actions, so I've satisfied the ability to play a Lilo making an uproar for free. Threw down the Lilo making an uproar, readied my Grandma Tala again, exerted it to challenge into my opponent's Daisy Duck, put 3 damage on it. I had an additional Lilo in my hand, which isn't limited, so if you played 3 actions, you can play every Lilo in your hand for free. You don't have to play 3 actions per Lilo. I threw down another Lilo, readied my Tala again, went ahead and banished the second Lilo. Now my Tala has 2 damage on it. So I thought about sacrificing Popsicle to heal it, but he's got Smee on the board, so we're going to probably take the trade regardless. So I kept the Popsicle ready to go. If you're keeping track of how much ink I've spent at this point, it was 1. So I still had 3 ink available to be able to go ahead and play Brawl. Took out her other Daisy Duck, and then at that point all she had on the field was a Smee. I had 2 Lilos out. I was at 6 ink, fully ready to be prepared. So definitely a super crazy play line when you're able to take advantage of 19 ink worth of cards on the 4th turn of the game, get yourself to 6 ink, and develop 2 4/4s that quest for 2. That's absolutely bonkers. See if we can pull another Enchanted real quick. That'd be pretty tight. So then going into round 4, I was of course 2-1. It was really important for me to win my game. I ended up getting paired up to table 2, where my opponent was playing Ruby Amethyst going into their round undefeated. They were looking to ID, obviously. They didn't ask me to ID or anything, but obviously they were going to be looking to ID because they were able to go 3-0 in the first 3 rounds, and at that point, typically in a 17-person tournament, you can ID twice and make it into the top 8. So they were going to want to do that. I obviously didn't want to ID because I still needed to win a game to be able to continue forward. They were playing Ruby Amethyst, which can be a rough matchup matchup for me. There's a lot of evasive in that deck. You really have to play very strategically, very slowly. It's really a war of attrition in that particular match, and I did lose the die roll. So, oh, I have 4 of these already. Still cool foil though. I was a little bit concerned about that, so I played actually both rounds. Spoiler alert, I ended up winning it 2-0. We played both rounds on the draw against that deck and just managed to barely eke it out. It was, like I said, a war of attrition with Pirates' Lives and Be Prepared, and they were playing Library. I was playing McDuck, of course. They have a lot of strong characters. We were both playing Maui, so yeah, just a lot of back and forth, and eventually I was able to eke it out 2-0. So going into round 5, the final round of Swiss, I got paired against one of the top players in the world, Dragon John Z, if you guys are familiar with him. If you aren't, definitely check out his YouTube channel. He makes some cool stuff, and like I mentioned, as far as the Lorcana rankings are concerned, he's considered one of the top rated players in the world. Obviously, I didn't want to play against one of the top rated players in the world and lose and not make it into top 8, so we ID'd, and of course both made it into top 8 because we were both at that point 3-1-1. He had also lost a round, and so we'd both be going in top 8, 3-1-1, which at 10 points was enough to get us in. So we ID'd into top 8. Top 8, lo and behold, just my luck, I get paired up against Purple, the exact same guy that I played against my only loss in Swiss. You go to 70-minute rounds in top 8, and it's just a grind to play that matchup. Like I mentioned, I wouldn't necessarily say he was playing slowly, but the deck is just complicated to play, so it was just, you know, not all the turns were moving the fastest, and ultimately I didn't want to grind 70 minutes to maybe not then have to also win 2 more rounds and maybe get a playmat. And like I mentioned, top 8 was splitting packs. We all got 8 packs. It was 64 packs split between top 8. I was perfectly happy with that, so I just said, hey, you win, good luck in top 4. I'm going to take my packs and leave. And Foil Raja, another card I have 1 million of. But if nothing else, we went ahead and pulled that Enchanted Anna. What are the chances? Absolutely crazy packs. Super happy with my performance. I'm happy with the way that the deck list did. I do think there's a possibility I could have won that matchup, but it's such a slog. I already had such a headache from playing cards all day. It just had been a long day. It was well past dinner time. I wasn't feeling the best, and I decided it was time to go home, cut my losses, take my prizes, and head out. And clearly taking the 8th place stack worked out because I ended up with an Enchanted Anna. So fantastic pack opening, had a lot of fun at the set championships, had a blast there. If you guys entered into the giveaway and you want to stick around to see if you won, we'll be jumping into that next. If not, as always, when you see those toys, video games, and 2 enchanteds off in the distance, remember, it is not a mirage. You guys have a great day. Alright guys, it is after the Reign of Jafar set champs. It's like 10 p.m. the night before this video goes live, and I just found out that my screen recorder won't run while we're trying to run a wheel with over 500 entries on it. My screen recorder just crashes, so we're having this a little bit of the handy cam way, but we're still going to get our results and see who won our Reign of Jafar booster box giveaway. Had an absolute ton of entries, pretty crazy. Thank you so much to everybody who took the time to enter, to comment, to join in on the conversation. Hope we'll get to continue having that conversation going forward. Super excited about Fabled. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and spin this wheel and see who won a booster box. Big congratulations to Jabs GG. Give me a shout in the comments below and we'll get together and we'll get that booster box over to you. Thanks so much for entering.